Did the Project Motor Racing Day 1 patch address our concerns with the title? No, and that is what we're going to talk about and address in this video. Don't forget that you need to be a subscriber to be able to unsubscribe, so gain that unsubscribing power today. You can click the like button if you enjoy this type of content, and as always, a huge thank you to our channel members, Patreon members, supporters, donors, and all you guys. Really appreciate it. So the Day 1 patch dropped on launch day, and I have to say, I am really not seeing that much of a difference with the launch version of the game compared to the press version of the game. And crucially, the biggest concerns that I had with Project Motor Racing don't seem to be addressed in the slightest. And those biggest concerns were frame rate, where we were getting at times 30 or 40 FPS on a 5800 X3D 5090 PC, a PC that would probably be in the top 1% of PCs on Steam. The cut track penalty system that is honestly one of the most insane penalty systems ever devised. 2 seconds automatic for tickling the side of the track even when you're avoiding crashes. And then just the inconsistency in content and the default settings really just not making any sense at all. Especially stuff like force feedback settings. It's like, did they want the game to feel as bad as possible for people trying it out? So I was hoping the Day 1 patch would address primarily the CPU issue, the performance issue. That's the biggest one. The sort of stutters and technical issues, right? That was my biggest hope. Then you would hope for things like penalty systems and design and all those other things. Now, not only did the CPU issues not get addressed at all, and I can understand maybe it's more complicated and these things take time, but your game has to run over 30 FPS on a PC that's in the top 1% of the Steam charts. I don't know how, whatever you say, your game has to run above 30 FPS, worst case scenario, with a system that can bloody play Microsoft Flight Sim through London in a higher frame. Anyway, but what's really worrying is not that they didn't actually patch it. Their statement on their website, the first statement they say is, we are seeing inconsistencies on lower spec machines. Our AI runs the same physics you drive with, and the complexity of that system is something we're still tuning. Lower spec machines. It's like, I'm sorry, I know other YouTubers as well that have good systems. My system's good. It's not a one-off thing. Is a low spec machine in their minds anything lesser than the latest Nvidia AI mainframe? Like, what? Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense at all. To make that statement does not make any sense at all. So that doesn't fill me with any optimism whatsoever as to that issue getting addressed. Now, things get worse. They get worse. Unfortunately, we weren't very well yesterday, but we still managed to get 3 hours into in our live stream of actual driving. The penalty system not addressed whatsoever. It would be better for them to just turn it off. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You can rack up like 30 seconds of penalties in a 5-minute race from just breathing on the edge of the track. It's just ridiculous. Like, genuinely, it's like someone went to design the worst ever possible penalty system, and you'd be like, oh, maybe in the press version it's something they need to adjust, or there's a little bug or whatever. Day 1 patch, no change whatsoever. So great. That's basically breaks the racing straight away, even in the single player, because if you are trying to be close to someone and you do one little mistake, you've got a 2-second penalty minimum. So, well, that's it. That's the whole race ruined. Obviously, people will quit online races if that happens. I don't even know how that gets through into the final Day 1 version. Even worse. It keeps getting worse, guys. We were trying to test the multiplayer yesterday. The ranking type online thing, which potentially could be really good. It's a missing opportunity, or it's a lacking thing in the sim racing space. It's something similar to iRacing, but also cross-platform, or similar to GT Sports Daily Races, which are GT Sports Daily Races, really good. iRacing's jumping races, really good. on console, there needs to be more of those kind of daily race things. On PC, fortunately, you have low fuel motorsport, you have race room. There's a few options now, and maybe there'll be more in the future. But the whole cross-platform thing with the jump-in daily racing, and that on console, meaning that you've got players all the time with vintage GT cars, that would be amazing, right? Well, every time we tried to do an online race, it would say like error 44, error 44. It let you sign up, error 44. So we couldn't even get into stuff. On the occasion that we managed to get into stuff, at the very beginning of the launch day, you have situations where sometimes you load in and nothing happens and the game just crashes, or you have to Alt F4 the game, or the game loads but you have to wait bloody ages for presumably the Xboxes to load, with nothing for you to do in between. And it's like, it's so clear. Like what I said in my original video is, this game needs at least 6 months more development, and actually it's probably at least a year, maybe even more. I think I was being far too charitable with 6 months, to be honest. But yeah, so right, you can't race with lots of AI or even a moderate amount of AI on a very fast home computer. The online system, the sort of the USP of the ranked online system, at least yesterday, was not working at all. Even when it does work, it's so tiresome to load into it. Also, the time of day and like weird selection of combo stuff doesn't really make much sense either. But put that to one side. That's just iRacing do that. So the thing is, with a driving sim, you have to release things in a relatively polished state. You're way better off having a lot less but making sure that's polished. And the degree to which Project Motor Racing is not polished, even after the day one patch, it's well, that's it. I don't. The thing is, sims are very complicated, and they're trying to sell the illusion of, oh, it's a realistic simulator. It's an illusion with all simulators. Doesn't matter how good they are. They all have like pros and cons, realistic and unrealistic things. But generally, it's kind of like the illusion of the experience of racing a car, even in the best case scenario. But if a game's got bugs, if a sim's got bugs, that breaks that illusion straight away. And then separate to that simulator side of things, just from a video game perspective, if at launch you cannot access anything in the game that basically works to a minimum functional level that you'd expect from something of the last 10 years, that's it. That's who's going to come back. So what? Who is going to come back to it? And the real annoying thing with this is, as we said in our earlier videos, some of the GT cars, there's quite a few actually, really nice cars in this, really nice content, really nice tracks. They're really fun to drive. The netcode is actually pretty decent. You can create a lobby and you can do some racing with that, so that kind of works pretty like cross-platform okay. Being as charitable as possible, that aspect works reasonably okay. We tested that in the press version. We did racing with Curve, that was okay. But yeah, the force feedback on those older cars, the way you can adjust the force feedback to really dial it in and from the game without using expensive wheels, and those older cars that are just more interesting cars, the audio of them, the graphics of those cars, it's not the shiniest of graphics, but you know, they're nice models. You've got some really nice aspects there, right? And but the whole package, it does not come together in the slightest. This is absolutely early access, full price early access, and it may be worse. And now with the day one patch not addressing anything, it's like, well, I think that's it, really. I don't know how they come back from this. And again, it's just baffling because you could remove a lot of stuff from this game, have much less content in it, but just make sure that the online thing worked reasonably well, like how GT Sport worked initially. They did GT Sport and then they did GT7, right? Only have the good GT cars in it, and make sure the default force feedback's good. And you'd have a really nice racing game. You'd have something that would drive better than Gran Turismo 7 and even some of the PC titles in many ways, and have more detailed force feedback. And you would have the jump-in multiplayer, assuming that it worked. Now, I have to say, I'm an idiot. I know most of you already know that, but I'm a total idiot because I didn't think that they would mess up the multiplayer aspect as badly as they did. I was, for some reason, in my brain, I was thinking, right, you know what, on console, as we said we've got our should you buy it or not video, if you're on console, there is no other games with like detailed physics really. GT7, Forza, okay, ACC, but there's not many things there. And even with the flaws in this, you can get this to run moderately okay on the console. It probably uses some frame gen to hide stuff. I think, I don't know that for sure, but I'd imagine, given how bad it runs on PC. But, you know, I was thinking, sure, day one patch or the launch version, they'll have that jump-in multiplayer working. We tested the standalone multiplayer, it seemed to work okay-ish. So, you know, it will make sense as a game for people that want an alternative to GT7. Jump-in racing won't be perfect, they'll work on it over time. But with the day one patch not addressing seemingly anything, even that goes out the window, really. So, yeah, and with the statement on their website, with it really, as I say, I think it's a very a little bit of a stretch, right? And seemingly, in my view, it actually comes across as a form of gaslighting, as well as other communication. I could be totally wrong, but my sort of being gaslit detection meter is the gas alarm's going off. The carbon monoxide has filled the room, and I'm unconscious. I'm actually unconscious right now. This is a dream. I really hope this is a dream. Right. Oh dear, guys. I mean, this is the problem is as well, right? It's what this does to sim racing at large. So anyway, hopefully, we'll sit down and have a chat with Random Call Sign, and we're going to talk about this, which would be awesome. And look forward to that, guys. But there you go. That's Project Motor Racing. Of course, I really hope they do update stuff, and I want this to be good. There are some good aspects to it. I want it to turn around, but unless you see it actually happen in what you can access, I don't believe stuff until I can see it. X-Files taught us a good lesson in the 90s. One, that for some reason Scully was never skeptical, but claimed that she was. It didn't make any sense at all. But two, trust no one. So there you go. David, don't trust me, don't trust anybody. That's it. Right, see you in the next one, guys. Hopefully we can do a more positive video. Actually, we do have a more positive video. Just wait and see. Take care. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.